In this episode, we're going to take a look at Stephen A. Smith and the sad sack of a human he has become. Let's get into it.
I am incredibly alarmed by what appears to be our First Amendment rights being attacked. This is what I do for a living. I don't like that. But you know he's coming. The man is coming. And you have to adjust accordingly.
Well, that was Stephen A. Smith talking about the Jimmy Kimmel situation. And when I heard him say that, I thought to myself, what exactly does he mean? Well, he was kind enough to accept our invitation, and he's with us right now. He's also the host of the new show, Straight Shooter with Stephen A. on SiriusXM, Wednesday nights from 6 to 8. Stephen A., welcome back. I'm glad that you're here. I want to dive right in because you said the man is coming and you have to adjust accordingly. Tell me what you mean by that and why that is different than, say, pandering or self-censorship, and you think just the right move.
Well, listen, I think it's obvious that the president is on a vengeance tour. He's out to exact retribution against all naysayers, all critics, anybody that he deems necessary to go after. And he's made no apologies for it. He's told us on numerous occasions that is what he intends to do, and that's exactly what he's doing. And when you look at Jimmy Kimmel and the stance that he took, do I believe that it was the wisest thing to do? No, but it's certainly within his right to do so, and it should be within his right to do so, as is the case for Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, or anybody else, because as our former President Barack Obama articulated, these kind of matters are at the heart of a democracy. First Amendment rights, the right to free speech, no matter who it is. And when you're trying to use government influence like Trump has done with the FCC, Mr. Brendan Carr, and you're trying to force your will upon folks from a government's perspective, that's problematic. That goes exactly against First Amendment protections. And so the fact that President Trump has been willing to take that stance, has been unapologetic in doing so, definitely points the finger of, trying to infringe upon our First Amendment rights. I was just of the mindset, however, that he's made it very, very obvious for quite a long time that this is exactly what he was willing to do. Stephen Colbert was obviously an example before Jimmy Kimmel became an example. And I was of the mindset that Jimmy Kimmel, you've got to know that. And all of us have to know that to some degree and operate accordingly. For certain severe critics of him, the man is coming. He's not playing around. He's unapologetic about the retribution he's willing to exact against anybody he deems harmful to his ego, his psyche, his presidency, in his own way that he may choose to materialize it.
But what does that mean then? Hold on, I want you to. But you said know this and operate accordingly. Describe though, because when you say operate accordingly, you can on the one hand know this, and the response can be, and I'm not going to lay down and take it. I'm not going to stand aside and allow and acquiesce. The other side is move accordingly, sort of under the radar in some way. How are you defining operate accordingly? Because I know from just hearing you and following your whole career, you are somebody who's been unapologetic about speaking your mind, having even unpopular opinions, and not pulling any punches. So is this different than that?
That's true. Yeah, because I'm fair and balanced. I'm not one-sided, and I'm not directing my eye at one individual consistently since 2015. That's not the kind of behavior I choose to engage in. Even people that I don't like, that I've been on the record stating I don't like, I still remain fair and balanced. When they deserve to be complimented, I say so. I don't avoid complimenting them just because I may not like them. And when they deserve to be criticized, I don't hesitate to do so. And their opponents or people that are on the opposite side of the aisle than other figures, I'll make sure to call them out too, under the same guise. If I agree with them, I'll say so. If I don't agree with them, I'll say so, and I'll say why. You have to remember that with Trump and the government itself, particularly as presently constructed, they're looking and accusing folks of being fair and partial. They're not being fair and balanced. That's the accusation that they're making. If you know that's what his fight is going to be, make sure that you don't hesitate to criticize others on the opposite side just as equally. So when he comes complaining about you, he can't say that you've been biased and discriminate against him and his administration. Make sure you're able to do that, because throughout history, from Johnny Carson to Jay Leno to David Letterman and others, They pulled no punches with anybody. But over the last several years, definitely there has been more cynicism and skepticism thrown in his direction, even when he wasn't the president, when he left office in 2020, as much as it was happening when he was in office for his first term. Fair and balanced is the answer to that question. That's how you ward off some of the arguments that he may try to make on your behalf.
I understand how you navigate the minefield and not to be naive. I do want to turn for a second, though.
Well, I wish I could say I was shocked by this, but I'm not. He's shown this, especially the last 8 to 10 years. He and his fake 50-50. His fake fair and balanced. Give me a break. True fair and balanced is when you call it out for the way it is. If Republicans or people on the right are doing 80% bad, well, that's what you report. And like Donald Trump's complaining about 97% of everything shown on normal news, normal networks, it's him doing bad stuff. Well, maybe you should stop doing bad stuff, man. Yeah. They should just make up stuff like Fox News and Newsmax and right-wing talk makes up about you. Like that horrible showing at that UN conference. Oh my God. If you truly watch the whole thing and not just capitulate to Fox News, watch what the crap they threw in front of you, and you just fall in line and capitulate like Stephen A. wants to capitulate, that was some of the most embarrassing. And he's done a lot of embarrassing speeches on the international stage, Donald Trump. But that was so embarrassing. The bigotry, talking about London's mayor, all the lies he made up about how good he's doing with the country, the economy, and everything else. Oh my God. What a joke. What an embarrassment. That's how the rest of the world sees it too. I hope you know this. People on the right listening, it's not a show of strength. They don't think it's a show of strength. They're only scared of us because we can hurt their countries, economically and militarily. And he's a fucking buffoon. He's a moron and a buffoon. They have no respect for him. Anyway, back to Stephen A. Smith. I got on a tangent there. This guy's a joke. He's an embarrassment. I have little to no respect for Stephen A. Smith anymore. He wants to capitulate. He wants to pander. Like Laura Coates was saying, that was the translation. AKA, I want to pander and capitulate and dance around the edges every now and then a little bit. Just a little bit. I might say something against it. Just a little bit. But most of them, I'm going to pander and capitulate. No. Do not take this man's, this is a sad Uncle Tom reaction. And this goes for not just Black Americans or Latinos or anyone of color. Everybody in this country needs to wake up right now. Especially if you're on the left. Don't capitulate. Stand up and fight. We have to fight for our democracy. I don't have much hope. I'll be honest. They're destroying this system. I don't have much hope. But I still have just a little bit. Just a little bit. The Jimmy Kimmel thing gave me just a little bit. But Stephen A. Smith, that's sad. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. That's all I got for this episode. Thanks for watching.